What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of picks for the weekend. If you guys don't know what I do every Friday, I try to give you guys my favorite picks going into college football and NFL weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And, I do have 8 picks in today's video. Majoritively college football. 6 of them are college football. 2 of them are NFL. So what I'm going to try to do is Saturday night, like probably late at night, I'm going to then try to make another video going over my favorite picks on the NFL. Every Friday I've been doing this, guys. So far this season, we are 18-14. So that is actually a 57% win rate. So I'd like to try to get this up to around like 65-70. I think that would be really ideal. Again, the theory of this video is not to hit every single play, right? It's unlikely that we're going to hit all 8 of these and go 8-0, even though I'd love to do that, obviously. But, if we could hit 5 out of 8 of these, if we could hit 6 out of 8 of these, then I would be very happy about that. If you guys do not know what we do on this channel, we actually do a betting strategy called correlation. And I go over this pretty much every day on this channel, but it leads us to be very profitable over the long term. So far this summer, we're up about 110 units. And then in 2025 so far, we're up around like 220 to 230 units. Again, these things are always fluctuating up and down, of course. And then last year, we went up 600 units using this exact same strategy. And it is pairing things up together. So for example, here's a screenshot from, I believe, this was week 2 of college football, and you'll see Sawyer Robinson, who we're actually going to bet on today, one of my favorite players to bet on. Baylor versus SMU. This was a game 2 weeks ago. We took both of these guys over. Okay, so we took Sawyer over, we took Hawkins over, and the better that Sawyer does, this game actually went into overtime, but I'll tell you that within the third quarter, this guy hit his line. So the better that Sawyer does, the better that one of his best receivers is going to do, and that is what we do here. We do correlation. So correlated duos here. You can also do the same thing in Counter-Strike. You can do the same thing in League of Legends, which is very successful for us, and that is what we do over the long term. So before I hop into PrizePicks, I do want to talk to you guys about Onyx odds, and if you guys do like what I'm talking about in today's video, I really recommend you guys join the VIP. Pretty much what the VIP is you sync up your phone number with Winnable, and Winnable is what my VIP is through, and then once you sync up your phone number, every single play that I send out, within 30 seconds of me sending it out, it goes straight to your text message via an automated text message pretty much, and says that I sent out a play. You click that link on your phone. That link then takes you to Winnable. You click another link that'll take you to PrizePicks, and it'll automatically play the entry for you, okay? So every single entry I send out should take you no more than like maybe 10 to 15 seconds to tail. So I send out about 10 picks a day, something like that. And all of these picks, if you total them up, will maybe take 2 minutes a day for you to tail. Okay. And again, you guys saw that we are profitable over the long term. So it's like 2 minutes a day, taking all the picks on PrizePicks. And what you guys can do is you can actually sign up for Onyx odds down in the pinned comment, and it's going to actually have you tail this pick, which I'll get into. Down in the pinned comment, you click that, and it'll have you, it'll fill in the code for you, which is detective right here. And most importantly, you will get $100 in free picks today with Onyx odds, okay, which is amazing value. Obviously, it's absolutely incredible that they're doing this. So all you have to do is put 10 into Onyx odds. You put $10 into Onyx odds, take a $10 entry. If you don't know what to take, again, I'll have a play in today's video, and then you'll get $100 in free picks. And pretty much how that comes across is 4 $25 free picks, free cash picks right here that you guys can play on whatever you want. And again, Onyx, I send out about 1 to 2 Onyx picks a day also on the VIP. So I recommend to have PrizePicks. I recommend to have Onyx, and then there's some other niche, kind of not niche, but sort of fringe ones that we also use, like Chalkboard, Sleeper sometimes, and that's mainly based on like discounts and such. But again, very important, you'll get $100 in free picks today with Onyx odds. That'll be in the pinned comment. And again, we hit Miami Dolphins plus 12.5. I feel like that was a really easy one. And then on Monday Night Football, Tampa Bay Buccaneers to go and win, we also hit right there. So this was plus money. This was close to plus money. So really nice to see. And then the pick for the day on Onyx, just before I get into PrizePicks and talk about that, is going to be Falcons money line. Okay, so Falcons to win. They're playing the Panthers. I mean, I think we all know that the Panthers are not very good. I think Falcons alone, just with their run game, is going to be able to beat the Panthers. Going to be able to get 4 or 5 yards a carry. And again, the Panthers, they just look really bad. They honestly, they kind of lose every game, and then they kind of come back in the end and kind of save Bryce's stat line. But you guys know, if you're a longtime viewer of this channel, I'm kind of a Bryce hater. I do not think Bryce is very good, and he just straight up doesn't win football games. Falcons looked very good in the game that they played against the Vikings, and I think the Vikings are a very, very decent team. So and I think they beat them 22-6 or something. So Falcons money line, again, is it the most crazy out there play ever? No, it's just Falcons beating Panthers. filters. But again, that's sometimes what you got to do, right? So let's get into the plays for the day. All right, we got 6 college football plays, and then we have 2 NFL plays. And again, stick around for the rest of the weekend, because again, Saturday night I'll probably be releasing another couple of plays. All right, so first pick, and this was actually a pick that I took last week, okay, and it actually hit for us, is Malik Murphy over passing yards. All right, so I'm coming back to this. He is now facing Oregon. He faced Texas Tech, and they lost by like 45 points or something. It was a really disgustingly bad game by Oregon State. They ended up like not scoring. I think they ended up scoring at the very end, something like that. But again, it's going to be where Oregon State is going to be behind in this game. Again, they're facing Oregon now. Oregon is going to probably put up 50 points or more versus them, and they know that going into this, okay? If you're an Oregon State coach, you know that you're probably going to get beat by 50 points to Oregon, and they're just going to play Malik Murphy a lot, and they're going to throw the ball a ton, okay? I should have pulled up how much this guy passes, but he is a solid college football quarterback, all right? He started at Texas a little bit when one of the quarterbacks went down. I think when yours went down the first year at Texas, and then he went to Duke, played decently well at Duke, and then again this year, even though his team is not very good, he's a decent quarterback that can get 200, 250 yards a game, and you'll see that he's done this 5 out of 5 times. Again, his Tech line was way too low. I called that out last week, and he gets, again, a solid like close to 300 yards. So I think he's going to be playing the whole game, and again, a very important concept with this channel is when you're down behind in games, you pass the ball more, okay? So when this guy is going to be behind and he's going to be down by 28 probably at halftime, they're going to come out at halftime and they're just going to pass the ball over and over again, all right? And you'll see he's going to slowly chip away at this line. So that's going to be the first pick there. Again, I think that's a pretty simple one and a big kind of thing of this channel. So next one here is going to be Darren Gill. And if you guys don't know, we actually bet on Jacob Gill. I don't know if they're related, but we bet on Jacob Gill under on a taco, and his line was close to 40 actually, and now Jacob Gill's line is 30. So that's a pretty big discrepancy there, but we are going to take Darren Gill. Again, I don't know if they're related, but we're going to take him over on Syracuse because Syracuse is a super pass-heavy team, all right? I actually really like Syracuse. We bet on them a ton last year with Kyle McCord, and they are one of the most passing offenses, like best passing offenses, and they pass the most in all of college football. So you'll see versus UConn, they threw the ball 53 times, and then versus Tennessee, this was this year too. Versus Tennessee, they threw the ball 40 times, and then versus Colgate, throw the ball 30 times in a complete blowout win. So again, when a team is winning like crazy, they're going to throw the ball actually less, which, they're winning by like 40 points. So they're going to run the ball like crazy. But again, now they are facing Clemson. So Clemson is favored to win this game, obviously, and they're going to throw the ball a ton. So I actually think this is going to be a lot closer of a game than people think. You'll see last year, this was with Kyle McCord, who is an NFL quarterback, but they beat Florida last year. So they have talent on this team. No, sorry, they didn't beat Florida. They beat Miami on this. They beat Miami last year. Honestly hung decent amount versus Tennessee, which looks like one of the best teams in the league this year. And then Clemson looks not very good. Okay, so I think this game is going to be a lot closer than people think. I think Clemson does edge out the victory and probably wins by like maybe 7-10. But I think Clemson's going to be throwing the ball a lot in this game, and I think Darren Gill, the number 1 receiver, is going to be a big part of that. All right. Haynes King is going to be the next one, and we're going to take him under pass yards, all right? So they're facing Temple. Temple is, not very good. Georgia Tech, who did Georgia Tech? I know they just beat, so they just beat Clemson, okay? So Georgia Tech just beat Clemson in a fairly close game where it was kind of back and forth, but Haynes King is actually a run-first quarterback. Maybe not run-first, but running really complements his game. He runs quite a lot, and in these games where he is going to win, like versus Temple, right? They just beat Clemson, so technically Georgia Tech is better than Clemson in my mind. Now they're facing Temple. Why would he pass the ball, and why would he get more yards versus Temple than Clemson? Because he's going to win this game most likely. They're just going to run the ball with their quarterback. They're going to run the ball with their running back, and again, when it hits this fourth quarter, they're probably going to be up by either 15 to 20 points, something along those lines. And Haynes King and Georgia Tech is going to run the ball over and over and over again, and I wouldn't even be surprised if they throw less than like 3 times in that fourth quarter entirely, okay? So we've all seen it that, for example, on Monday Night Football with Baker Mayfield, versus the Texans. When a team is behind, so they're behind versus the Texans, they then have to come back and throw the ball like crazy. And Baker Mayfield actually had like 6 or 7 completions in that game where he's throwing and throwing and throwing. But when a team is ahead by, let's say, 15 to 20 points, they're just going to run the ball over and over, okay? So Haynes King, one of my favorite games of the weekend. I told you guys about Sawyer Robinson. Probably my favorite college football player this year is Sawyer Robinson. This guy is an absolute animal. And you'll see Baylor versus ASU. Okay, so this should be a close game. ASU is slightly favored, so that's going to put Sawyer Robinson behind, which is exactly what we want to see. He played Sam. I think this is Sam Houston, but they dominated them again, causing him not to throw as much. But these games where he has to keep into these games, I mean, look at these games that he's playing here. He's playing LSU, Auburn, SMU. All of these were close games or games that he's losing, and he throws for over 400 yards like clockwork. Okay, so another thing that you could take is you could take Hawkins, who's one of his receivers. You could take Hawkins over, or you could take Josh Cameron. Now, I would like if these lines are a little bit lower, and also it's hard to decide between these guys because they're really like 1A and 1B. I like Josh Cameron a little bit better as the receiver, but that's why his line's a little higher. So I'm just going to say, you know what, let's just take Sawyer Robinson and not overcomplicate it and take him over. I've seen multiple times this year already where he has gotten over 300 pass yards in like the early third quarter. Like he enters halftime with 250 yards, okay? So this is a classic Big 12 team battle right here. Not very good defenses, and there should be a very, very high scoring games here. All right. I think this is the 5th play is going to be Owen Macauen to go over. Owen Macauen, a pretty decent quarterback here. I think this is his 2nd year starting for UTSA, and UTSA is a okay, high-powered offense right here. And I think UTSA versus Colorado State is a very evenly matched matchup right here. I think UTSA could be up, then Colorado State could be up. I just think it's going to be a very evenly back and forth matchup right here, causing Owen Macauen to have to throw a lot. So you guys will see that I'm playing these entries not necessarily based on these lines sometimes, even though some of these lines I think are too low or too high. Like Haynes King, I think his line's too high. I think Malik Murphy's line's too low. I think Sawyer Robinson's line's even too low. I think Owen Macauen's line's too low. But a lot of this is me thinking about how this game is going to go and more of how these game scripts are going to go. And that is why, I play a lot of correlation based off, I'm going to take the quarterback receiver over, I'm going to take the quarterback receiver under. And again, this game I think is going to be a close game. I think the potential for a shootout. I think shootout's a little bit of a maybe stretch for this game, but UTSA is a pretty decent passing offense, and Owen Macauen is a good starting quarterback. He kind of reminds me of a Malik Murphy type person where he's probably not going to the NFL, he's probably not NFL level, but he's a solid starting quarterback in college football, and he's going to be able to move the ball around. And again, if either team is in this game going into the 4th quarter, I think he should easily go over this and get this. The last play in college football here is going to be Devin Dampler. We're going to take him under interception, okay? We're going to take him under interception. I'm just realizing his fantasy score is crazy high. But yeah, this guy's actually a really good quarterback. He's kind of a slept-on quarterback, and he's facing Texas Tech. Again, this should be a decently high-scoring game, and I'm just taking him under interceptions. He hasn't thrown an interception, I believe, the last 8 games, so 8-game streak of not throwing an interception, and he's facing Tech. That doesn't have too great of a pass defense. Again, could a ball get tipped and he gets an interception? Of course, guys, but I would say maybe 7 out of 10 times I think he does not throw an interception in this game. And again, I told you guys I like things that hit around 65 to 70% of the time. I'm going to be there every single time, so I'm taking him under there. In that game. So these are going to be the college football plays. I'm actually just going to go ahead and place an entry on this. I don't really recommend doing this. What I would do is I would find any discounts that you may have, or find any other picks that you may have and pair these up together. But for tracking purposes, I'm going to put $1 on that, and just so I can track everything and see if things hit or not. But again, going through it, Malik Murphy over, Darren Gill over, Haynes King over, Sawyer Robinson over, Macauen over, and Devin Dampler under interception. All right, so that's going to be college football. And then NFL real quick. We only have 2 plays in the NFL right now. You'll see a lot of the NFL lines are actually not even out yet, other than some of these yards and stuff. But first one here is going to be McConkey under. I actually had him under at 68.5, and now his line is 65.5. So I like him all the way down to I like him all the way down to 62 or 61. Okay, guys. So the main reason why I like this here is he is going to face Denver. Denver, very, very solid defense. He is facing Pat Surtain most likely. And in that defense, Pat Surtain absolutely shuts down people. Michael Pittman just faced Pat Surtain, and there's discourse that Michael Pittman actually kind of won the matchup. And Michael Pittman got 4 receptions for 40 yards. Okay, so that's the type of performance we're talking about of someone beating Pat Surtain is 40 yards. So Ladd McConkey doing what he normally does is going to be difficult for that. I will also say Ladd McConkey, he's faced a little bit of target share, of some players, coming into his target share, like a Quentin Johnston, like a Keenan Allen, and players like that, where Keenan Allen is getting 4, 5, sometimes even 6 receptions per game, which Keenan Allen was not there last year. So Ladd McConkey, I think he probably gets maybe more like in the 50s or something like that. I think this one's going to be pretty close, which is why if this does bump lower than like 61, 62, then I probably would not take this anymore, but that is going to be the play there. And then the second and last play of the video is going to actually be Jake Browning over 32.5 pass attempts. All right, guys. So first and foremost, the Bengals, if you look at the splits with Jake Browning, they really don't change very much. Okay, Jake Browning and Burrow, this is kind of crazy to say, but Jake Browning, when he comes in for the Bengals, they really don't look very different. They just really don't. They pass a ton. They do short intermediate passes, and actually Jake Browning does more short passes than Joe Burrow does on average. So I'm thinking he's going to pass the ball more, have more pass attempts. They're probably going to run a lot of screens. They're going to run a lot of screens to Chase Brown. They're going to run a lot of screens to Jamar Chase, and they're going to have easy pass completions for Jake Browning. Another thing too is I think this is going to be a close game, Cincinnati versus Minnesota, and some of these offenses might struggle a little bit, but overall I think that both these teams are going to be in this game, which causes Jake Browning to go over here. So you'll see the game that he played versus the Jaguars. I think he came in like the second quarter, maybe the late first or something, and he got 32 pass attempts. Okay, so he played like 3 quarters and he got 32 pass attempts. All right, so they throw the ball a lot. Bengals, that is what they do. I think Chase Brown, their running back, is like not very good. He's not very efficient. So I think they're going to keep passing this ball in this game and stick to kind of their strategy that they probably planned the whole offseason, which is giving the ball to Jamar, giving the ball to T. Higgins, and giving the ball to Chase Brown in open space, and that being with screen passes, with little slant routes and such. And again, these small passes are going to add up, and the small passes are really how you get high pass attempts, right? If you come out like a Lamar Jackson, you throw 60-yard bombs every play, that is only 1 pass attempt for 60 yards, where you could do a 60-yard drive and have maybe 8 or 9 pass attempts where you're just throwing little dink and dunk passes, which I think is more what the Bengals are going to do with Jake Browning. All right, so taking both these guys, Ladd McConkey under, and then Jake Browning over, and going to do the same thing just for tracking purposes. All right, guys. So that is going to be the plays. All right. So come Saturday night, I'll probably have some more picks. I'll have some more NFL plays for you guys. Again, sign up for Onyx odds and get all my Onyx plays. We've been doing well on Onyx odds, and you'll get a free $100 in picks. So who does not love a free $100 to bet on going into this weekend? All right, that's going to be amazing for you guys. And thank you guys so much for watching. Again, leave a like on this video if you did enjoy. I will see you guys in maybe Saturday night. I might see you tomorrow morning as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys at a different time.